Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate my Best Buy MVC database project. And I'm going to start off by showing the SQL database here. So we have a products table here with product ID, name, price, category ID, on sale, stock level. Product ID is our primary key, and category ID is a foreign key that relates to the categories table over here. Okay, so that's just a quick preview of the database. And then, so we'll come over here to the main program, where the first thing we do is create a host and build and run it. And then with the create host builder method here, we will reference our startup file. Okay, so over here in our startup file, we have our IDB connection being created, and it is getting the connection string from our app settings.json file. And basically this is going to allow us to connect to our database. Okay, and then we have our iProduct repository and product repository being added as transients. We add controllers with views here because we are using a MVC pattern. And then down here in the configure method, we are setting up this application for use with routing, authorization if we want. And then we are mapping controllers to the endpoints. After that, we have a product class that we have. And in it, we have our properties, and these properties relate back to our database, our product table specifically. And then we also have a public IEnumerable here of categories, and this will allow us to return the categories. Okay, so over here in our iProduct repository interface, we have stubbed out methods that our product repository is going to inherit. So we have an IEnumerable of products called get all products. It doesn't need a parameter because this one is just going to query every single product in the database. Then we have our public product get product, and this one will take an int ID because we want to specify which single product we want to get by its primary key, which is the product ID. Then down here we have public void update product, and then we use a product of type product here as our parameter, and that will allow us to specify the properties of the product that we are going to update, including the primary key of it. And then we have another public void. This one is insert product. And here our parameter is product to insert. So over when we use Postman, we can set this variable and its properties to whatever we want, and it will create that in the database. We have another IEnumerable of categories here, and this one is called get categories. So that will be used to just query all of the categories from our database. And then we have assign category, which will allow us to assign a category to our product. And then finally, we have delete product, which we just pass in the product we want to delete as a parameter, and we will delete that. Okay, so now we have our actual product repository that inherits from the iProduct repository interface. And in here, we are going to actually flesh out our methods. So we want to specify our connection that we get from our startup file, which also in turn references our app settings file. Okay, so our first method here is assign category, which this will allow us to assign a category to a product that we specify. So first, we are creating a variable called category list and setting it equal to the method get categories, which will get us the full list of categories and store it in category list. And then we want to create a new instance of a product called product. And then we want to access the categories property of that product and set it equal to the category list. And then we return that product. Our next method that we have is delete product. So we're going to use the execute method on our database because we want to make a change to the database. And we tell MySQL that we want to delete from, and then we say the table, so reviews, where product ID is equal to the ID property of the product that we're passing through here. And so we have to say delete from everywhere that this product exists. Otherwise, we'll get an error. Okay, so after our delete method, we have get all products, which will return an IEnumerable of type product. And we are using the query method here because we're not trying to make a change to the database. All we want to do here is get every single product in the product table from the database. So we say select all from products. Then we have another IEnumerable, but this time of type category, called get categories. And again, we use the query method because we just want to read all of the categories from the categories table of the database. Next, we have a get product method. And this time we actually pass in int ID because we want to specify the ID of the product that we want to view. So we're querying single this time. Whoops. We query single product this time. So we say select all in SQL. We say select all from products where the ID is equal to the ID that we pass in. And that will allow us to see that single product. Here we have insert product, and we pass in the product to insert variable. So whatever product we specify that we want to insert, we have to create all of the properties. And down here, we say we want to use execute again because we're making a change, and we say insert into products, the products table, and we specify the name, price, and category properties of the product to insert. And then we set the values equal to those values in the table, in our database table. And finally, we have our update product method that will allow us to make changes to an existing product. So again, we use the execute method on our database because we want to make a change to the database. So we say update products, and then we set the name equal to name, etc., where we have the ID of the product that is passed in set to the ID in the database. So now we have our index view. It's a CS/HTML file, so this uses Razor syntax. So basically a hybrid of HTML and C#. We use the @ anywhere that we want to use C#. So we are referencing the model IEnumerable of type product. Here's our heading of the page, and then we specify the style, which we want to be display block. So here we have a link called create a new product. That's the text it'll display, and it is linked to the product controller and the insert product method of or action of that controller. And then we have a table that we created displaying the properties that we'll also have in our database. So again, the ID, the name, and all that. And then we're going to use a for each loop here using C# because we want to just do that. It's a lot quicker to do that to print off every single property of a product in this database. Otherwise, we would have thousands maybe of lines of HTML code in here. So that's our index page. It's just displaying a table and allowing us to create a new product on there. Here is our product controller that our index page is linked to up here. And over here, we can find that IActionResult method called insert product. Also within this product controller, specify the repo. We're using the interface here so that we can use these methods. Okay, so then we have our index view here method, and all that's going to do is return a view with the products. And to do this, it's going to use the get all products method, which does not require a parameter because we're just reading or querying all of the products from our database, setting it equal to products, and then printing that to the view. Okay, and then our next method, we have view single product. And again, with this one, we pass in an ID of the product we want to view. So we have our get product method here, and we're setting it equal to a variable product. And then we print that single product to the view. Okay, after that, we have update product. And with this one, we specify the ID of the product we want to update. And here we're setting a product called prod equal to the get product method that uses the ID that we just inputted. So that's essentially going to get us the product and set it equal to prod here. And if prod is null, we want to return view product not found. Otherwise, we're going to return the view of that product. So then we have our update product to database action here. And with this one, we are using a product as a parameter, and that product is going to get passed into the update product method of our repo. And then we will return a redirect to action to the view product view over here. Okay, so now we have our insert product action that has no parameters. So we're going to use the assign category method to assign it a category and store that in prod here. And then we are going to return a view of that product. And then down here, we are actually going to insert the product to the database. So we have product to insert is our parameter, and that gets passed into the insert product method of our repo. And then we're going to return a redirect to action to the index page. And that method will just print all products to the view again so that we can see our updated table. And then finally, we have our delete product, which we just pass in the product we want to delete. And then it references the delete product method of our repo. And then it redirects us back to the index page again to display the updated table once more. Okay, so that's our product controller. So we already took a look at our index view. So we'll take a look at the insert product view now. Over here we have, well, first we're referencing our product model, which we saw earlier over here in our product class or model. And then we have our heading for this page. Okay, and then we're using C# to create a form here. So within this HTML form, we're specifying up here the controller name and also the method that we want it to link to. Whenever this is submitted down here, we have our submit button, and the value is create product. And we're using for each loop to display the category and the category ID. Over here in our update product view, we are referencing the product model again. So here in our heading, we're saying update and then at model name. So whichever product we had clicked, it's going to use the name property of that model. Okay, and then here we have, we're using another HTML form. So again, we're specifying the method name and the controller name here. This is going to display the name of the product, the price of the product, and then we have our submit button to update that product. So I also wanted to add that I'm using Dapper as my ORM, so the object relational mapper, and I'm using that to allow me to connect with MySQL database. And I'm also using MySQL.data. And those are my two NuGet dependencies that I have going on that will allow me to work with that SQL database. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so now that this is up and running, we can go over to the products tab, click on that. And over here, when we use that for each loop, here we can see that we have each product displayed with the product ID, the name of the product, the price, category ID, on sale, and stock level. So, and we have each product ID linked so that we can click on that and it takes us to the view product page, where in here we can say delete this product or update this product. And if we decide to click delete this product, that will trigger our delete product action. Or if we want to update this product, that would link to the update product to database method and the update product method. Back here, we can also create a new product. So let's try it out. We're going to put a product. Okay, and we're going to specify a price. And then here is where we can select from the categories. Okay, and remember with our insert product method or action, we get a return redirect to action, the index method of the product page. And back here, again, we have our whole list of products. And if we go to the very bottom, we can see 954 original Xbox 360, which is what we typed in. So we can also update this product and we'll test that out. Let's just change it to something like new product. And then we'll change the price to $1. So let's update that product. Here is our new product information that we get. Okay, now we can also go check our database to make sure that it is also making these changes to that. So let's refresh it. And then again, let's select all from the products table. We come down here and here it is, new product, $1, $9.54. So it is making those changes to our database. So now we've demonstrated our CRUD functionality through our MVC app. So let's finish it off by deleting this product. And we get a message asking if we're sure. So we say, okay. And then we can check our table on our app and 954 is gone. And then if we come over to our database, refresh it, and then select all from products again, come down to the bottom and there's no more product at 954. It's gone. All right, so that's all. Thanks for watching.